Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. Today is Saturday, April 11th, 2020, and I thought I might as well just do something a little bit different for today's video. We're still looking at the 2020 electoral map, but at the same time, we're going to go ahead and use the numbers from the predictit.org market share, where essentially people predict the outcome of the elections and they actually bet money as to who will win each individual race. And I think that this would be a very interesting overall look at the election, considering that all around there's always going to be a liberal or conservative bias as to certain political forecasts or mainstream media predictions, possibly even polling data. But these market shares, regardless of your political affiliation, that Joe Biden is not going to win Wyoming and Donald Trump is not going to carry Vermont. And the markets are the perfect place to have, an unbiased view as to how the general public, or the general public with enough money to put money into a shared market such as this, predicts each individual race could go. Now, I get it. There's an argument back and forth as to whether or not Donald Trump or Joe Biden will win this election, but people's money right now, according to the Predictic market, actually put more faith in Donald Trump being the presidential nominee. That's not what you're going to see in these state-by-state races, though, surprisingly. I'm surprised that they go one way on the national level, an overall winner, despite almost every market, not too good in favor of President Trump. But I thought that it would just be very interesting to take a look at where people are giving their money, because a lot of people, again, regardless of how you feel, are not going to go for the GOP or the Democratic Party just because they're politically affiliated with that party. They're not going to want to lose money in these, races. So it looks like it's an exact tie between the Democrats and the Republicans. I don't know why it's different here. I guess there's just room for Andrew Cuomo and other people that are supposedly going to run for the Democratic nomination after Bernie Sanders dropped out. I'm sure there's a 1 cent in there for Bernie Sanders, but essentially, I've compiled all the data of the state-by-state races. I'm not going to focus on solid races because, to be completely honest, they're not that important, realistically. I'm pretty sure most of you know that by now. We don't need to focus on states that don't really have a chance of flipping to either party. So, honestly, I'm just going to fill them in as safe for right now. But I do think that this is interesting. If you don't know how this works, I'm on predictit.org. I'm in one of their markets, and then I went to the presidential election. Essentially, so let's say we take this one, for example, the 2020 presidential winner. Donald Trump, 50 cents for a share, and then Joe Biden is 44 cents for a share. All around, essentially, if you believe that Joe Biden will be the presidential election winner, you would pay 44 cents to say that he would win, and I'm assuming it's like 56 cents against. And then if you end up being right, you get to gain, 66 cents for 56 cents, for every share that you had. So let's say you put $1,000 in it. Actually, let's just say 100, because nobody realistically is putting $1,000 in there, even though there's 74 million shares. Even then, it would just be, you would gain $56 from it, because you would just gain 56 cents per share. But still, nothing really to lose if you know how this election is going to go, but obviously we don't. So they do this in each individual state. There's a lot of people that do bet on these markets. It's not just like a couple thousand. I mean, Minnesota alone has 132,000. So generally, where the money goes is how the election ends up. They're not always accurate. They're 75-25, so you can't really rely on them for a super accurate prediction. But generally, people sway with the election, and again, regardless of political affiliation, they're going to vote how they truly believe each state will go. And I think that's a very interesting look at the American public. So I've compiled a number of swing states and swing congressional districts, Nebraska's 2nd and Maine's 2nd district, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at those states and how people generally believe that they are going to end up. So first things first, I'm just going to go ahead and fill in all of the safe states. There's no real reason as to why we should not fill in states like Missouri. I can go ahead and put Nebraska's 2nd district as a toss-up right here, Utah, Alaska, and then obviously there are safe states for the Democrats. Some of these states are going to end up being safe, obviously. It's just I have numbers for them, and I just want to go over them and talk it through with you guys. I believe this is good. Maine at large probably could be. No, Maine's 1st district would be considered safe. I wouldn't say Maine at large, but that's good. So 179 electoral votes for Joe Biden. I think that should be 183. Yeah, Hawaii, to 125 for Donald Trump. This is just generally how the electoral map ends up with all of the safe states. But we'll start off with the state. Let me turn off volume here. So let's go ahead and talk about the first few states. I'm going to actually go ahead and focus on states that Donald Trump won in 2016. And looking at this map, there's a lot of them. Florida, this one goes to Donald Trump. There's a 52-cent share for Donald Trump winning it, or the Republicans. They do a Republican-Democrat. And then 49 cents for the Democrats winning there. So I guess I'm not going to do them necessarily because some of these states it's 66 cents to 37 cents when the race is definitely going to come down to less than 1 to 2%, probably less than 2%. So I'm just going to, I guess, put them in the lean column for most of these states at least. But according to the markets, it does look like Donald Trump will carry the state of Florida. Same thing goes with North Carolina. It's a little bit more, 54 cents for a share for the Republicans and 49 cents for the Democrats. It doesn't always have to add up to 100. For Wisconsin, this is a state Donald Trump won. Actually, it's 57 cents for the Democrats and 43 for the Republicans. I think that's pretty interesting. I'm surprised more people don't think it's going to be closer. That's rivaling numbers to Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin's definitely going to be closer than Pennsylvania. New Hampshire, 65 cents for the Democrats, 36 cents for the Republicans. I think New Hampshire is going to be a likely state regardless. And here's the interesting one, Maine's 2nd District. A lot more people are sure that Maine's 2nd District will go to Trump than a number of other states, which is really interesting to me. So Maine's 2nd District is actually 73 cents for a Republican share and 25 cents for a Democrat. So if Joe Biden does end up winning, it'll be a very interesting number. I don't know why I filled in. It'll be a very interesting, I guess, increase in monetary value for a lot of those people that said Biden would win there. But if Trump wins there, of course, they're going to cash in as well. Colorado, this is a Hillary state from 2016, but I'm just going to go ahead and fill it in. 81 cents for a Democrat share here. I mean, people are insanely confident about a number of these states going for the Democrats. Colorado, Nevada, actually, which is 75 cents for a Democrat share and 29 cents for the GOP. So actually, I'm going to put both of those in the likely column. So I think that's really interesting that people are so sure that these states in particular, I mean, I understand Colorado, but I don't necessarily understand Nevada. Typically, it shows the Republicans ahead in polling, and though it is always close, the Democrats do end up winning it. It's historically a Democratic state, but I thought a lot more people would be skeptical about the race. Arizona, again, another Trump state, actually 55 cents for a Democratic share here. That's really interesting considering it's only 48 cents for a Republican. If my money was on it, if Joe Biden was the nominee and nothing changes from now, I would say that the Democrats would win it, but I wouldn't be. I didn't think the American public was this confident in a Joe Biden victory. And these don't necessarily have a liberal bias per se. Again, this is people's money, so I guess most of the time they're not going to want to put their own personal bias in it, just generally how they believe the state will go. I understand the Arizona call, but I'm surprised that this many people are confident in it. So I'm putting that one in the lean column. Iowa is pretty much a done deal, 68 cents for a Republican share and 33 cents for a Democratic share. I think that number would be higher for the Democrats if Bernie Sanders was the nominee, but obviously he will not be. And that's just because of his primary victory and appeal to, I guess, those type of whiter voters. But I do think that Biden still has that appeal to the Rust Belt. Georgia, 65 cents for the Republicans and 35 cents for the Democrats. I think that's also really interesting. Georgia was a swing state in 2016 for reference, but obviously not this time based off those numbers. Maine, Democrat, 75 cents for a share there, so I think Maine will go to the Democrats, 26 cents for the GOP. Nebraska's 2nd District, though we barely have any polling data there whatsoever, any recent polling data at least, the Democrats have a 55-cent share there, and the Republicans a 46% share. I think that's, insane considering that Nebraska's 2nd District didn't go to Obama in 2012, did not go to Hillary in 2016, did not go to the Democrats in 2018. So I think that it could be interesting. Actually, I may be wrong about Nebraska in 2nd District in 2018. One of you guys, if I'm right or wrong about that, please comment that down below. But I do remember that it was either 2016 and went to the GOP, or it picked up one or the other. It was just a really weird thing. It didn't really go with the Democratic wave year type trend. But I think it might have been 2018. I was almost certain that one didn't flip. And then the last batch of states, the ones that I still have yet to fill in. Virginia, 83-cent share for the Democrats. I mean, yes, I keep that one as practically safe in almost all of my election predictions because it is Virginia and it has that history behind it and it has all of the previous elections over the past 3 years to back it up. But again, I did not think that they were that confident in Virginia going that way. But moving over to the state of Texas, 72 cents share for the Republicans. What's interesting is that it doesn't go as far right in terms of the predicted markets compared to Iowa. Iowa voted for Trump more than Texas in 2016, which I think is pretty interesting. But 72-cent share for the Republicans, 29 cent share for the Democrats. Moving over to Michigan, actually, 66-cent share for the Democrats. I mean, that's practically insane. I really thought people would think that Michigan would be a lot closer, considering that not many people think that Joe Biden's going to win the election. If you compare the state races, which you will see at the end of this video, does not even come close to comparing what they show with Joe Biden losing based off the predicted market. Pennsylvania, 62 cents for a Democratic share. I mean, that's also insane. Really wasn't expecting that. Pennsylvania to the Democrats, 40-cent share for the Republicans. Minnesota, 74 cent share for the Democrats, around Texas numbers. But I can guarantee, I mean, Minnesota was a lot closer in 2016 than Texas was. New Mexico, this is a solid state for the Democrats, 85-cent share for the Democrats. 17-cent share for the GOP. And the final state, Ohio, not really surprising to many. Ohio, 63-cent share for the GOP and a 39-cent share for the Democrats. So the overall electoral map ends up 290 to 248. I mean, this is a standard electoral map that you see, whether it's on my channel or a number of other election YouTuber channels. I think that it is pretty interesting that the predicted market votes this way, and then on the overall national, it shows Joe Biden losing to Donald Trump, and it's just a tie in terms of which political party would win the White House. It definitely fluctuates back and forth. If you take a look, you can actually see a 2-cent share for Mike Pence, Bernie Sanders, Andrew Cuomo. These are people that aren't going to run. But if you take a look at the 90-day share, I think Joe Biden should be dipping because Bernie Sanders was definitely up there. But after Super Tuesday, or right around Super Tuesday, it went back and forth, and then Biden dipped. I think that's with the introduction of Cuomo, yeah. And I don't think he's fully recovered. But obviously, let's go ahead and look at Sanders. Obviously, this is when Sanders was having his huge increase. It was weird because neither of them overcame Donald Trump. The only person who knew that was Joe Biden, but that's obviously because they were both in the race. But this is the electoral map according to the predicted markets. This is where America's money lies in terms of predicting the presidential race. And I think that it is going to be pretty accurate when we come back and take a look at this video. In 6 months. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to comment down suggestions below, and I will see you all tomorrow.